So a number of my hopeful parent clients come to me and ask, should I work with an egg donor that's the same ethnicity as me? Or what's the deal with choosing an egg donor who may be of a different ethnic heritage or race than I am? If you're wondering that, you're in the right place. Hello, I'm Corlandos Scott, and I'm an assistant reproduction attorney in LA, and my entire practice revolves around helping people grow their family through things like egg donation. And one of the most common considerations when someone is starting down the journey of looking for an egg donor is, what kind of egg donor are we looking for? And when I say what kind, they're thinking about all different aspects of the egg donor, from her education to her health and also her ethnicity. So in this video, we're going to talk about the types of egg donors, the qualifications of an egg donor, and the basis for having the option to choose a specific type of egg donor. Let's dive in. When intended parents are looking for an egg donor, the most popular place to find them are at egg donation agencies. These are companies that provide profiles of women willing to be matched with potential or hopeful parents to donate eggs to them to help them grow their family. So when we're talking about the types of egg donors, really, I guess there's only really two main categories. There's known egg donors and anonymous egg donors. And the reason why I bring that up is because even if you are sorting through these profiles and looking for particular characteristics, some egg donors will be open to being known, and some egg donors will not want to be known. They will want to remain anonymous. So you'll have a photo of them, you'll have information about their education and their hobbies and different things like that, but you won't know that person's legal name. Now that's important because oftentimes it's difficult to determine someone's ethnicity by simply looking at them. And I have friends who are darker than me in complexion and are not African or African American. They're another ethnicity. So just because you're looking at a photo of a donor from an agency, it can't be the end all be all of your knowledge of what her ethnicity or racial heritage is. So you have to get more information from the agency. Some agencies provide this information and some agencies don't. But many people still have the question of really what qualifies a person to be an egg donor. And really, outside of the medical and psychological requirements or benchmarks that they need to pass in order to qualify, what it boils down to is really, what are intended parents looking for? What motivates an intended parent, or hopeful parent as we call them, or a recipient of donor eggs to prefer one ethnicity over another? Why is that happening? Well, in terms of physical attributes, ethnicity, race, and things of that nature, most hopeful parents who are looking for donors want a donor that resembles themselves. While a good number of my clients are completely open with their egg donor arrangements and their process of growing their family, many of my clients also never mention it to their family members, their extended family, their circle of friends, that they're going through the egg donation process. And when they're working with a donor that resembles the intended mother, then if she's carrying the child for herself, or even if she's working with a surrogate, no one else is the wiser as to how that child came to be with regards to whose eggs went into making the embryos. So that's another reason why many hopeful parents want to work with a donor that resembles the hopeful mother. Another consideration that I hear often with my hopeful parent clients who are looking for a donor and are considering ethnicity in their decision is the fact that there are certain genetic disorders or issues or diseases that are linked to race. So for instance, you have sickle cell anemia that appears mostly in the African American community, or Tay-Sachs that appears mostly in the Jewish community. And this is something that is to be considered, especially if one of the parents carries a recessive gene for that trait. It may be desirable for them to have a donor of a different ethnicity so as to be absolutely certain that they're not going to pass down that genetic disorder to the child, or run the risk that the donor also carries that same recessive gene. Hey, tell me, do you like the video at all? Even a little bit? Even if you like it a little bit, click the like button. go ahead, let YouTube know. That way YouTube will know to share it with other people. And while you're at it, just subscribe and go ahead and hit that little bell just right beside that subscribe button, and you'll never miss another video. Never, ever. So when we're looking at things like family resemblance, and especially the ability not to pass down a genetic disorder or a predisposition for a genetic issue, that's really when we're looking at our basis for why you should be able to choose the donor of your liking. Now, in my experience, there are certain donors that are not as plenteous, or the agencies don't have as many women of these ethnicities who are willing to be donors, and that makes them a bit more difficult to find. When I think about these different types of donors, the two that come to mind mainly are donors of Asian descent. While I'm at it, another group of donors that you don't see a large population of are African American donors, as well as donors of Middle Eastern descent. So if you're watching the video and you're thinking about donating and you're in any of those categories I just mentioned, there may be more of a demand for donors like you because it's difficult for intended parents to find donors like you. And so they want their donor to be of a different ethnicity than them, simply because they know that that will contribute towards more diversity. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing to say that you can or cannot work with the donor of your choosing. If you find a donor that vibes with your family and that works with what you want in your family building plans, then I say go for it and good luck to you. One thing to keep in mind though is when you're working with a donor and matching with a donor, it is just that. It's a match. So it's not exactly like, ordering something out of a catalog or off of Amazon.com. You don't just click the button and you get that donor. It is a two-way street. So while you get some information about that donor that allows you to make a decision to work with her, she'll also get some information about you, although it may not be identifying information. She'll get some background information about you and your family and your hopeful family that she'll have to be able to consider when making her decision to work with you. So when those two things align and you both want to work with her, don't let anyone stop you. If you're looking to grow your family through egg donation and you're wondering where do you start, then don't worry. Go ahead and click the link below. Reach out to me and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the process. See you in the next episode.